Hey y'all, I'm Sashah, a baker and fitness instructor in New York City, and this is another episode of Alt Baking Bootcamp with Well+Good. I personally am a huge fan of breakfast for dinner, and so today we're going to make a really delicious, gluten-free, veggie-filled, protein-packed quiche. Let's get started. We'll start by making our cornmeal crust, which has a little bit of cornmeal, corn flour, some black pepper, and then we're gonna use 2 different types of cheeses and some eggs to bind it all together. I'm gonna start by mixing my fat, which is 2 eggs, a little bit of cream, and some olive oil all together. You just wanna break apart the yolk. The whisking here isn't super tedious. We're just gonna whisk until it's light and a little frothy. So this is looking really light and a little fluffy. I'm gonna pour that right into my dries. And every bit of fat counts, so I'm gonna use my spatula to get it all out of the bowl. We're gonna add a little bit of asiago cheese, which is a dry, salty cheese. And then we're also gonna add some cheddar, which is more of a moist, kind of fattier, luscious cheese. And that's gonna give you a really beautiful crunch when this bakes off. So it's 2 parts cheddar to 1 part asiago, but you can really play around with this at home. We're gonna mix it all together. And the reason why I've used corn flour and cornmeal is because the fineness of the corn flour will absorb all of that fat and help it stick together while it bakes. So as it comes together, what you're looking for is this like malleable, almost dough texture. And when you press it into the palm of your hand, it should stick together like that. So once it's all combined in your mixing bowl, super quick, easy transfer. Make sure that your baking pan has been sprayed pretty generously with some cooking spray, because all of this cheese, once it's melted, is gonna wanna stick to the pan, and you don't want that to happen. All right, so as you can see, it's all come out as one uniform ball, and that's exactly what you're looking for. From bowl to ball to pan, press it in. So I have a thin layer on the base of the pan, and then I'm just using my fingertips to press up the sides so that you have a beautiful little crust that comes around. And you'll start to see little bits and pieces of cheese, and when you get those in your final product, it'll be so delicious, it'll just melt right into your mouth. That's it. Your crust should take no more than 5 minutes to put together, and then you'll put it into the oven at 375 while you start to combine all of your egg filling mixture. Okay, so your cornmeal crust is in the oven and it's baking, and now all I'm gonna do is put all of my veggies into a large mixing bowl. So I'm gonna go with basically the most firm veggie at the bottom, which is gonna be this bell pepper. I'm using all pretty water dense vegetables. So you're gonna put them all together, and then we'll pour the eggs in afterwards just to coat them, and then we'll quickly pour them into our crust and get them right into the oven, because you don't want this to release too much moisture into your egg mixture. This is just a bunch of mixed greens that I've already chopped up. The chopping isn't necessary. I don't love getting a huge leaf when I'm taking a bite. I want everything to be kind of bite size. That's why I chopped them. So we have a lot of protein from the eggs alone, but we've also got quite a bit of egg whites to really pack that protein punch in. You're just gonna combine them into one bowl. Once all of your egg yolks have been broken and incorporated into the egg whites, you can go ahead and pour all of that on top of your vegetables. I wanted the version of quiche that we're making to be protein packed without having to get a ton of its fat from the heavy cream. So a lot of the fat and a lot of the flavor is actually gonna come from your 2 different kinds of cheeses. Again, I'm using 1 hard briny cheese, and then I'm using 1 soft, kind of sweeter cheese. I've got a combination of herbs here, from onion salt to garlic powder, thyme, chili flake, but you can really do what your heart desires here. I just, again, want all of the veggies to come through with a lot of flavor and not get lost in the eggs, and you're gonna do that with a really beautiful herb mix. So once all your vegetables are completely coated with the egg mixture, you can go ahead and pop this right into your cornmeal crust. And then the cornmeal crust will continue to bake as your egg mixture bakes as well. I've kept just a tiny bit of cheese so that during the rotation, halfway through our baking process, we'll sprinkle this last little bit on top and it'll get a nice little like bubbly golden coating once it's done baking. Ta-da! Oh my God, it's bubbly, it's fragrant, it's golden, and you can see on the edges it's starting to take this really beautiful dark golden color, and that's exactly what you want. Be careful when handling, it's very hot. And you're just going to start from the middle and start to scoop the ingredients in and then kind of flatten them out as you go. Again, most quiches are very eggy and we love eggs. I'm super into eggs, but I wanted this to be very veggie forward. So what you're gonna see here is a lot of the red bell pepper, a lot of the spinach, a lot of the mushroom kind of come to the top of this quiche. And for me, that's exactly what I want. If you wanted to go with a little bit more of a traditional quiche, I would say to add 1 or 2 more eggs to this recipe, and it would give you that kind of outcome. Make sure, again, everything is just at least coated with the egg mixture, because if it goes into the heat and it hasn't been covered in some kind of fat, it's just gonna burn. All right, and now we'll bring our oven down to 350. Pop it in there, rotate it once after 12 minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like after. So in order to get this beautiful crust out of your pie pan without breakage, you have to let it completely cool. So take it out of the oven, leave it in the pan that you baked it in, and just leave it alone for at least an hour. Once you've let it cool, once you've transferred it to a serving platter, find the most delicious looking piece, your sharpest knife, and then just dig right in. And make sure you put a lot of pressure into the crust, because you wanna make sure that you hear that crunch and that break so that you get a beautiful, clean slice out of it. Oh my gosh, so good. Look at all these layers. So you've got your cornmeal crust, your egg center, and all the veggies have pretty much come to the top. And then we did sprinkle some cheese at the top, so you have some like melty, goldeny, cheesy goodness. Let's get in there. Ooh, always dropping food. There's quite a bit of salt in the crust, and so I didn't salt my eggs a ton, and it's just like the combination of like creaminess in the eggs and crunchy kind of grittiness from your cornmeal is just beautiful. It works so well. And like, I'm a very big savory person in the morning, so if you gave me a big slice just like this for breakfast, I would be good to go for the rest of the day. You could also cut all your slices in advance, put them in the freezer, and you have breakfast for at least a week. It's really easy to take on the go. Pop it into a Ziploc bag, put it into a paper towel, run to the train, make it just in time, and then eat it on the train. If this vegetable forward quiche was exactly what you were looking for in a breakfast item, you can find the entire recipe in the description below. And until next time, subscribe to Well+Good. We'll see you later.